Hey guys, what's up? This is Michaela Fadovic, and I am the broker owner of Elite Class Property Management and Real Estate Company. Today we have Don with Beyonder Holdings, and he is an awesome guest that I've been looking forward to having on the show. So, Don, if you could please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Michaela. My pleasure to be here. As you mentioned, my name is Don Spafford. I'm with currently Beyonder Holdings, which is formerly known as Happy Camper Capital. Those who may have heard that name. Um, so a little bit about myself, my background. I've got an education in finance, banking, investment science, and portfolio management and accounting. So 4 majors from the University of Nebraska at Omaha is where I went to school. I currently live in Southeast Idaho. But my team and we purchase RV resorts, campgrounds, and marinas across the country. I did not start out in this space, obviously, as most people, wouldn't just naturally begin there. But I did start buying four plexes back in 2017 is when I started. And then to maybe give some hope to some people, I literally started with nothing, right? So I didn't have a big savings account or a high income. I kind of scrapped things together, got hustled and found a lender as a 10% down payment. I borrowed from my 401k, and that's how I pulled it together to get that first deal done. And then snowballed that over the next 5 years, led me to where I'm at today and doing syndications with large commercial properties, both again with the RV resorts, but I'm also on another team that does build to rent multifamily. So two things that were totally I guess would have considered out of my league when I first started. But the things happen, and 5 years after buying that first property, I was able to quit my W-2 job, and I'm now full-time real estate. So that's kind of what I do today, and I love to be able to provide these types of investment opportunities to other regular people, just like I was 5 years ago, I guess, and still today, I'll say. But that gives people the opportunity to invest passively and create income and wealth to kind of achieve their own personal financial goals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I was kind of like taking a look at what you do. So you have a very special twist on doing like Airbnbs, right? It's kind of like a short-term type of stay, correct?
Yeah, basically, yeah. With the RV resorts that we purchase, these are not like your RV parks where it's like long-term stay, kind of like a mobile home park. These are short-term stay vacation resorts. So yeah, people come and they'll basically reserve ahead of time, same as you would for an Airbnb, right? You make a reservation, you come there for so many days or however long you plan to stay, and then they leave and go back home. And so yeah, these properties produce very high income because of that. It's I often use the Airbnb as an example as to kind of qualify these properties as like an Airbnb or a short-term rental at a multifamily scale. So you're getting hundreds of these little individual short-term rental spots on a single property.
So I'm curious because so my background, I actually used to do like music festivals on campgrounds and like RV campgrounds too.
Awesome.
So I'm trying to think, you probably have to go through like the same type of like process in a retrospect as like the campgrounds, like the RV campgrounds itself, right?
Well, so I'm not sure I understand your question. In
So
what regard?
essentially, sorry. So my
We're talking about
excitement starts to get a hold of me.
concerts, then we had to, so
So
yeah.
basically, in the retrospect of like your zoning, your like process of getting licensing, like do you have to get the licensing? Is there like an entire zoning process? Do you buy these things kind of like turnkey where everything's already on the land, or do you just start from scratch and then you go
Yeah.
through everything?
Gotcha. Yeah, so currently we purchase existing campgrounds, so ones that are already there, more or less turnkey, but we don't just buy them and leave them as is, right? We look for value add opportunities. So we buy an existing campground that may be possibly underserved, like a mom and pop owner that has maybe limited resources. They've done it a fine job of what they could do, but there's much more that could be done. So we'll take on a property, and preferably one that has land where we can expand. We'll add on more campsites, we'll add on more amenities, possibly cabins, glamping options, all these different things just to make the property nicer and better and more productive, more efficient, more profitable, right? So that's kind of what we do now is we purchase existing ones, so the cash flow day one for our investors. We do have plans though to begin building ground up campgrounds here in the very near future, possibly by the end of this year even. So that is definitely in our sites, I guess, of something that we're going to start doing soon. But currently, yeah, we do purchase existing campgrounds and just make them better.
So that's really cool. And I kind of like I have a question to ask, and I it's kind of putting you on the spot. But do you have any pictures that you could share with us that like maybe even on your website, like screen share? Just because like I kind of think that people may kind of understand the gist of what you're doing, but like what you're doing is like, it's so beautiful, because I kind of like, I went on there, I was like, wow, this is great. And I love it. It's really well put together.
Let me see here. So yeah, I can definitely let me get something prepared ahead. I did not have anything ready for this for sure. So
sorry, I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? This is actually great, because the more people can visualize what you're really doing, and then kind of put that also into the concept of like the financial benefits and the investment aspect, the better it is, because like this is a very awesome like concept.
Yeah, let me see here. So I can do a screen share. I guess you need to allow me to share. Sorry.
No worries. Okay. Let me see, meeting settings. Let's do, how do I, now we have to struggle to get this. It's all good. Okay. Share maybe? I don't know. How do I do this?
Yeah, you should build something that says share, like allow more than one or two people to share, something like that.
Oh goodness gracious! I should have tried to do this before,
if not, we'll just send them. We can add them to the information later. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I can also just kind of like stitch it together. Now I'm like very curious as to where this thing is. It's so interesting. Okay. Well,
if you're on I guess a laptop, it should be the bottom should share screen, and you should be able to click that, and it should say something like allow 2 or more people to share or have access to share, something like that. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. I've done it. I don't remember exactly what it says, but yeah.
I can't even find it. I checked the settings. I checked everything. I don't know what it's doing. Well, apparently I am not a professional at sharing.
That's right.
But, okay.
Well, try to make it a picture in people's minds here, right? So
yeah.
So think of these places. These are like high-end resorts, right? So these are clean, nice facilities. Don't think of like a, I hate to use the word, but like trailer trash type, like you associate with mobile home parks, right? These are very nice, clean places for families to go and enjoy themselves, have fun. So you're gonna have these large pull-through sites for RVs or motorhomes. Or you've also got maybe a set row of cabins or like glamping options like yurts and things like that. Some of our properties have hotels on them. So people can come here, but you're not here just for camping, right? This is not your campgrounds of your grandma and grandpa, right? These are high-end, like amenity-driven campgrounds for young people in particular. Like so the largest new campers and RV purchasers are the younger generation, like millennials, Gen X, I guess, like people under 40. So these are very much driven for people looking for things that they need today. People are working from home, working remotely from their campers, right? So you gotta have good Wi-Fi, right, from their cars, right? Yeah. So they need to have that good connectivity to do work and do YouTube videos and all this stuff. And then but at the same time, they want to have fun experiences for the kids and family to go hang out and do things. So they might be like if we've got like a lake, you'll see like a large aqua park or something, so people can, it's just like a bouncy house on water, right? So people climb and jump over that. You may have boating and skiing options, possibly horseback riding, ATVs, electric bikes, all kinds of things to kind of get out and enjoy being outdoors. But we also do have concert events, right? So we have some of our campgrounds do have a concert venue on site to do these weekend or summer concerts to bring people out there that may not be coming for camping. You're going to come here to go to a concert and play in the lake, enjoy some good food with some friends, then you go back home. So yeah, these are definitely it's full on like a vacation resort is all it really is.
So okay, I'm curious now, because I'm literally like a festival organizer, and we go so well with like doing campground stuff, right? So you already have me hooked in. I'm like, okay, so how do I get started on this? So essentially, I guess where and how did you get started on this? Because like this is a massive scale type of like investment, and you said that you got started in this with little to no money. So I'm invested right now.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, so I started. I didn't start in campgrounds with little or no money. I started buying a fourplex with pretty much no money. And just over time kind of scaled up, and eventually got a couple more, then eventually got into some other development projects and things with, I met partners. This is definitely when you get into commercial real estate, it's not something you can typically do on your own, right? You have to find help. You got to find partners and people you can trust and work with. So that's kind of what I set out to do, knowing that I wanted to get to that point. I needed to find the right people, and I need to find the right thing that I would enjoy, or that speaks to me, I guess, in a way. So I started in multifamily, looking for apartment buildings to purchase, or partners to partner with. And in the last few years, to be honest, in my opinion, the returns were not great. The price had gone up so much, there was so much competition. It was hard to find anything that could really cash flow. And for me, I was always, cash flow was my goal. I didn't care about appreciation. Of course, I want appreciation, but that was not, I did not buy solely for appreciation. It has to cash flow, and it's got to cash flow well right from the very start. And so if I saw a lot of these multifamily properties or projects or other syndications people were offering that were, maybe like between a 4 and 6% cash on cash. And to me, that was like nothing. I was like, that's not worth my time. I'm not going to take on that risk for nothing. It's like, not not saying it's a bad investment. It could work for somebody, but for me, I didn't feel good to have that much money tied up in a property getting so little cash flow, and then possibly have some other opportunity come up. Now I don't have the money for it, so
Exactly.
so it's kind of that opportunity cost is why I looked at it. So I was in a pursuit to find something better. I was like, there's got to be something that can cash flow out there. I didn't know what it was. I didn't have any sight to say I'm going to go after campgrounds. But while I was doing my job previously, and I worked from home for many years, I was listening to podcasts all day long. So while I'm here typing in my computer working, I've got podcasts playing all day long. And I usually listen to them at 2x speed, so I go through multiple podcasts per day. And on one of those, somebody else, this is now maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe it's summer of 2021 we're talking about. So I heard on a podcast somebody else talk about campgrounds, and they weren't doing the type that we're doing now with the this transient campers. They were more of the long-term stay type properties, but nonetheless, even with that long-term stay, they were the returns they were discussing, talking about the cash flows they were getting, the opportunities for the multiple income streams on a property. I was like, wow, that sounds incredible. I wanted to learn more. And on top of that, like I said, I mentioned I live in Southeast Idaho. I'm like an hour and a half away from Yellowstone Park. So this is a very big camping area just in general. Lots of campgrounds around here. Most of my neighbors have RVs. And so I thought there could be an opportunity there. Something that maybe was maybe more of an untapped niche, maybe. Because I previously spoke with many of my neighbors about possibly investing in real estate with me, more about multifamily type stuff. But none of them really had an interest for it. It's not something they understood or felt comfortable with. And so when I kind of discovered RV campgrounds, before I even got involved with it, I kind of did some of my own personal due diligence, right? I went out and actually talked to my neighbors about it. I was like, hey, what would you think about investing in a campground? And now, take in mind that they own an RV or they go camping. This is something they understand, they utilize it, they know it. So they were like, yeah, that sounds amazing. I would love to learn more. And so for me, that kind of gave me that like light bulb moment. Okay, there's a group of people out there who are probably, in most cases, we'll say people that own an RV or especially a motorhome, right? These are higher income earners, like high net worth people that can afford these luxury items. So if that group of people are maybe not your typical real estate investors, but they would definitely invest in an RV resort. I mean, there's a huge opportunity there. So I decided to kind of pursue it more and look into it. And I went to many like webinars and meetups with people that are just in that space. Initially, again, just trying to make contact and network and get to know people that are in that space, hoping to find somebody that may want to buy here in my area near me in Idaho. It's like, I can be your boots on the ground. I can go take videos and all that. And in that type of networking and commenting on posts on LinkedIn or other social media, I got in contact with people who are now my partners, Adam Lendy and Justin Hoggett. They're both based in Denver, and they had just recently purchased their first property in Iowa. And they did it all on their own, realized that they need a team to scale like they want to. So they set out now to go find people to help build their team. And so luckily for me, like, shortly after that, this, the right timing, everything lined, the stars lined, you want to say, we met and discussed in discussing our personal goals and aspirations and where they saw the company heading. They invited me to join with them, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. I mean, this sounds amazing. To be honest, that wasn't like that quick of a decision. I did have to think about it a bit. It took me a couple of days to maybe a week, I don't know, because I was definitely focused on multifamily stuff, but the way I looked at it, I was like, again, taking those trends where I was seeing the multifamily space heading, right? The cap rates were getting more compressed, the returns were going down, competition was going up. And so I was like, my hopes of finding that great cash flowing property are getting slimmer each day. and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
and so I was like, okay, what's it gonna look like 3 years from now? If I keep doing what I'm doing now, 3 years from now, is anything gonna be any different? Probably not. If this campground space, though, if this does explode, like I think it's about to take off, kind of like I was comparing to self-storage and even mobile home parks 5 or 6 years ago when they were relatively new, then all of a sudden took off.
yeah,
I was like, this space, I think, is in that same beginning cusp right now where it's right about to take off. So 3 years from now, am I going to regret not taking this chance? And I decided, yeah, I probably would. So it's worth
yeah,
at least for me worth giving it a try, exploring it, see what happens. If it doesn't work out, great. At least I won't regret not trying.
yeah.
But but if it does work out, then great. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And so I decided to take that leap. And so I officially joined the company back in November of 2021. And again, that was when it was Happy Camper Capital. We did have our own management company called Beyond Our Camp, which is why now, about a year or so later, we've kind of just combined those two companies under one name, but they're Beyond Our Holdings, that does the purchasing and managing of the campgrounds. But yeah, so that was for me like the starting point of how I got into it and why I got into it. Again, was seeking those higher cash flows. And because
So
that was for me my goal and what I needed to do. So I was already sold on. I was definitely going to invest in it. Whether I was part of a
yeah,
group doing it or not. But I was just I guess overly happy that I could now participate in it more than just investing in it too.
yeah. No, I think it's really great. I really don't think that people understand how profitable campgrounds can be. And like being somebody who worked so closely with campgrounds from like that third party perspective, like we were paying like thousands of dollars like just for a weekend. So it's like if you rent out majority of your weekends and then you also fill in like at least 60% of the vacancies throughout the week, like that can be extremely profitable, like crazy. Now, what is your ROIs that you're seeing on average, like low, high end?
Yeah. So I say just to get some average numbers, right? So we don't, first of all, we don't purchase any property, right? We go through hundreds of leads before we get on one that we actually pursue to purchase. So we have very strict buying criteria, and for us that the two, we'll say, basic principles, something even for us to look at. It's got to have at least 100 existing campsites or around 100. Kind of more for that economies of scale, because we know we got to pay staff and people and provide returns to our investors. So we have to have at least enough to really have that property be profitable. So we start with at least around 100 existing campsites, and then also within about a 2-hour drive of a major metropolitan city, preferably more than one, but kind of that gives us that built-in user base. People like yourself that want to go out and have fun. You don't want to travel cross country, but go out for a weekend. Most people are willing to drive a couple hours to go have some fun. So that's kind of our two basic starting point criteria. And then from there, if the returns we're looking for property that's going to meet what we want to present to our investors, we look for about an average of a 12 to 15% cash on cash, and about a 20 to 25% IRR, which equates to about a 2.5 to 3x multiple over a 5-year hold. So if you want to compare that to just about any other commercial real estate syndications that I've seen and most people have seen, that's probably at least double or more of what you're typically seeing in other opportunities. So very high return, properties.
In comparison, yeah. I mean, considering nowadays people are like, oh yeah, I'm just going to get 4% return on this property. Just like, what? I don't even like working that low. That's way too low for comfort for me, because like you have such little room to grow, and like I try to
little room for error. I mean, if something goes wrong, it wipes it all out.
Forget it if the market crashes. Like if there's a market crash at any point, not saying now, but like in the next 10 years, like if you're already at a 4%, you could go all the way down to it like 0 or negative, and then you're just like, you might as well just throw in the towel,
Yeah, exactly. And all it would take was just one major unexpected expense as well. Like if you, I don't know, something major happens, you got to spend a few $100,000 to repair something. Yeah, that wipes out everything. So yeah, that's too much risky for me. And then on top of that, top of those great returns, something else that people maybe don't consider, wouldn't even imagine, is that the tax benefits are actually better as well. When you compare multifamily or something else. A lot of people are touting like the 100% bonus depreciation, which of course ended last year. Now this year it's 80%, but nonetheless, people are kind of using that as a selling point. But really, that bonus depreciation in most cases is very little compared to the overall total for the building. For campgrounds, I initially myself, when I first got on, I didn't think there'd be that much. I'm like, okay, it's mostly land. You can't depreciate land. But as I got into it and talked with cost segregation experts, and we of course did our own cost segregation studies for our properties we do have, I quickly learned that there's actually a huge amount of depreciation that can be taken from campgrounds. In fact, much more so than you'll typically see in multifamily. And that's because of all that infrastructure, the roads, the utility connections for all the pedestals, and of course the buildings, everything else is all there. All those things can be depreciated typically at a much higher rate than everything else. So it's not untypical to see, in fact, this last year, the properties we closed on this last year, we've had them range between 60 to 80% total depreciation. I have seen cases of over 100% depreciation, so yeah, the depreciation benefits are huge as well for
Wow.
people that are looking for that.
That is wild. Wow. Okay. So, I mean, how would somebody like that's just starting out, maybe like a small time, first time investor that wants to get into this, go about getting into it with you guys? Like, are you guys looking for new capital partners, or like what is your guys' position with that?
Yeah, well, we are still buying properties today, so we plan to purchase many more this year. So we're always in need of more investors. People that invest with us already, of course, want to invest more, but everybody at some point runs out of of money they have to invest, right? We have not gotten to those people yet that have unlimited funds, but yeah, so we're always looking for new investors to invest with us, as individual retail investors, also institutional investors, fund of funds, private equity, family offices, all of the above are welcome. Just even equity partners. Yeah, if somebody does have access to enough capital, we're welcome to explore a partnership, even possibly. So yeah, lots of roads we can explore for people that are looking to invest at a small scale or a large scale as well. And something else that's great about these properties for investors is that not only do you get to enjoy the great returns and the depreciation, but you can actually go there. You can enjoy it, use your asset, and have fun with it. Typically, if you're invested in an apartment building or self-storage or something, you're not going to go and use it. You're not going to live there probably.
I mean, if you do,
in the parking lot.
I've actually, you would be surprised. I've had my clients of mine just show up randomly to their house and just like crack open a beer with the tenants. And I'm like, you can't do that. housing laws.
Yeah. Well, I guess a short-term rental may be some of an exception, right? But typically, you're not planning to live there or really use it much, right? So, but these campgrounds, you can go there with your friends and family and hang out and enjoy it, have a good time. Bring up conversation about investing in the property and kind of blow their minds that you're part owner of the property. So, it's something we encourage our investors to do that. We in fact actually provide up to a 1 week free stay per year at our campgrounds for our investors, as well as a 20% discount beyond that throughout the rest of the year. So great opportunity for those that love being outdoors anyway, or maybe you're already a full-time RVer. Why not take some benefit from it, make some money on it, and have some savings from where you're staying too.
I love it. So do people just contact you at your email? Do they go to your website, to the happycampercapital.com, or like how do they kind of sign up and get started on it?
Yeah. Well, we're kind of in transition of that name change. So for now, we still have two websites. Beyondercamp.com is where you'd go for our campground management. Eventually, that's where everything will be held. But for now, for the investment side of things, you still can go to happycampercapital.com. And you can register there to get access to our portal to learn more about our past opportunities, watch our past webinars, see our past deals, and be aware of any new deals as they come up. Of course, you can contact me. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there, or on Facebook. Feel free to email me at don@beyondercamp.com. And I'd be happy to talk to anybody about what we're doing and kind of see what this could look like for you and how you could potentially boost your retirement income if you're at that point, or just start building wealth now and building up that passive income to get out of your job or get your spouse out of their job or whatever else you may need for additional passive income.
Yeah, I love it. I'm already behind it. I really appreciate having you on, and I mean, I'm really excited. We're actually going to end up adding some clips and stuff. I don't know if you have like a video or maybe like just photos and stuff I can kind of add into the video, but I'll add it into here. But I really appreciate having you on this video with me. It's been a pleasure having you. And by all means, like anybody that's watching this, please go and check Don out, reach out to him if you have any questions, or if you want to learn more, if you want to start investing in this type of like investment, because like he's discussed, this is a very profitable like option in investing, and it's more fun too.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very grateful for that.
Of course. Okay. Well, you guys, please hit subscribe, like, and comment below any questions that you may have for us. And we really, really appreciate your support. And thank you so much. We will see you on the next one. Bye.